The myth of the concrete glider has brought Adam and Jamie head-to-head in an aviation dogfight. And to find out who's going to be Top Gun and who's going to be the goose, it's time to get a visual on the enemy bogey.
Ta-da! Ah, well, it looks like something right out of Leonardo's day.
It's actually modeled on Cayley's glider. It is, in fact, his most successful glider that carried a person, and it weighs a bloody ton.
Yep. His thing is going to drop like a stone when he lets it go. I mean, you can see by the shape, it's not got very much lift involved. You know, I'm guessing that it barely has any more lift than mine does, and yet it weighs several times as much. So I don't have a whole lot of hopes for it.
Let's see your fragile, wilting bird of a plane.
Okay.
It looks like a glider.
I did testing on something that was a foam version of this.
Yeah.
And this is under the weight that I tested and still considered it to sail.
And at the weigh-in,
In this corner, weighing in at...
the scales confirm Adam's worst fears. At just over 600 grams, Jamie's wilting bird is a featherweight.
This is basically concrete with a few pieces of string, and I think it's a fantastic attempt at foiling the myth that you can't make a glider out of concrete.
Adam is next, and with over 2 kilos of Cayley glider, he's definitely in the heavyweight division. So with a heavy heart and glider, Adam has defeat firmly in his grasp.
Let's set up a wind tunnel test so we can figure out how many different ways you've probably beaten me in this contest.
Okay.
Using Grant's drinking straw technique, Adam breezily whips up a wind tunnel. With the makeshift wind tunnel up and running, Adam and Jamie can measure their glider's lift-to-weight ratio. They'll do this by weighing the glider in front of the fan. Any lift their glider achieves will result in a weight reduction.
Yeah, I'm seeing, on average, probably about, just about a max of 200 grams of lift there.
By my best guess, my glider was receiving about 38% of its total weight in lift.
38% is impressive. With a decent launch speed, that will increase, and it may just be enough. Next up is Adam's Cayley glider.
Well, it's nice that I can feel some lift, but this thing is heavy.
His lift-to-weight ratio is well down on Jamie's. It's only generating half as much lift.
Yeah, it spikes up to 350.
My glider did not seem to perform as well as Jamie's, actually about half as well.
At this stage, Adam is thinking his heavyweight contender won't stand a chance against Jamie's featherweight champion. But with both fighters ready to rumble, it's time to pack up and head back to NASA to let these concrete creations fly. Dr. Steve Smith, Mythbusters' font of all flying facts, is there to check out the designs and offer some last-minute advice.
Crucial question on this one is going to be where the center of gravity is so that it trims.
Well, where should it be?
So somewhere probably between 25 and 30% of the length, maybe.
About right here?
Next, Jamie presents his featherweight wilting bird. But does Dr. Smith think it'll fly more like a paperweight?
Yeah, that's impressive. That's beautiful. Cables stay bracing and everything. Look at that. Wow.
It's paper thin.
Wow. Oh.
Dr. Smith's upbeat reaction to their designs has fueled their enthusiasm. But his advice means Adam and Jamie have some tweaking, trimming, and testing to do. To get the balance right, Adam is stealing another of George Cayley's design ideas and adding a gondola. The weight beneath the wing can be adjusted to move the center of gravity. Plus, it should stabilize the glider in flight. Jamie has also been busy shifting his glider's center of gravity further forward.
It looks stupid, but we don't care about that right now. It's a concrete airplane. What are you going to do?
It may have been called Big Nose at glider school, but it's ready to fly. And while Jamie has been picking his glider's nose, Adam's been getting some launch advice.
I figured out with Dr. Smith's help. Actually, Dr. Smith figured out with my help. And by help, I mean I supplied him with measurements. He was able to calculate that it should fly at around 20 to 22 miles per hour, about 30 feet per second, if it is to hit its ideal speed to glide ratio.
And because his throwing arm won't manage 2 miles an hour, never mind 22, he's got a cunning plan. He's going to use a zip line, tow line, and quick release.
That mark is where the pin gets pulled out and my glider starts flying on its own.
Adam then optimistically marks out a target distance of 50 feet.
That's how far I want to travel. Now, I'm about to let go of this. You got the hook?
Yep.
Oh, buddy.
Okay.
Everything's in place. I'm going to go down there and grab the tow line.
Last call for the departure of Concrete Airways Flight 101.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, the launch was successful, and Adam's Cayley glider has survived relatively intact. But how far did it glide?
Well, let's see where I... Oh, there's my 50-foot mark, 55 feet, so I didn't make that. Looks kind of like I hit maybe at like 20 feet. So I didn't get my glide ratio I was hoping for.
But hold on, there's a catch. Adam thinks his glider released from the zip line and began flying on its own at a height of 20 feet before gliding a distance of 20 feet. But there's been a recount.
My glider released from its catch off of its guideline at about 9 feet off the ground. It then flew close to 34 feet before hitting the ground. Now, 4 times 9 is 36, so 34 feet means I came devilishly close to a 4-to-1 glide ratio. I'm stunned, actually. I could not be more pleased with these results. I know I was shooting for 55 feet, but really, I was hoping for anything over a solid drop into the ground.
Incredibly, Adam has gone from underdog to top cat. Jamie steps up to the plate, but he's stubbornly sticking to a manual launch from the stairwell, despite Adam's successful flight.
I don't want to screw around and, you know, get some kind of, you know, zip line going and all this kind of stuff. I'm just going to throw it and see what it does. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Well, there you go.
Jamie's wilting bird took flight and then took a nosedive. In other words, his concrete glider was all concrete and no glide.
Congratulations, you won.
I'm going to enjoy this for the short while that it lasts.
Jamie's 1-to-1 glide ratio was not even close to matching Adam's soaring achievement of 4-to-1. And, you know, it's possible Adam will let Jamie forget about this.
It's not really about who wins or loses. It's really just about illustrating the concept.
But I won.
But unlikely. All gloating aside, what about the myth? Did the guys prove anything about the concept of a concrete glider?
Aerodynamics of planes don't scale up very easily from small to human size. But that being said, I think there is actually a tiny chance that that one could build a human-sized concrete glider. I'm not sure that I would get into it, but I'd certainly give Buster a ride.
Well, Adam, I don't think either of us were really that happy with the gliders, but we did prove that it can be done.
I'd call it plausible, but not recommended.
Yeah, you know, the big thing for me is that you only got one shot at it. You know, it's brittle. If you crash with the things, it's over.
But, you know, I think we also proved that if you really think through your launch and you do it correctly, that you can actually get some gliding done.
We're strutting a little bit, are we?
Sure.
Okay, well...
I'll enjoy it while I can.
So we're plausible.
Plausible.
But not